So hi everyone. The course name is Data Structures and Algorithm. The course code is U18 PCCS 301. So this subject is under the second year BTech. Uh, I am the Mr. Sheikh Abdul Wahid, Assistant Professor, the Department of CSE, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research, Chennai. So let's see the definition of some basic elements of data structures. So first of all, definition of we'll see the definition of data. So what is data actually? So data is a plural form of datum word. So data is nothing but the collection of raw facts, consists of text, numbers, images, audio, video. So whenever I say the data is nothing but the collection of text, number, images, audio, video. For example, so the data, for example, the WhatsApp messages we send through the text, through the video, through the audio, through the images. So in the WhatsApp, we are using the all kind of data. So I'm sending the messages through the text, through the numbers, through the images, through the audio, through the video. So data has a wide range. So now what is the data structure? So in the data structure, two words are there, data and second is the structure. So already we have seen the data. Now what is the structure? Structure means organization or skeleton. So data structure collectively, it can be defined as data structure is a specialized format for the organizing, storing data in memory that considers not only the elements stored but also their relationship to each other. So for example, I have to save data in the memory, whether in the hard disk, whether in the RAM. Okay, I have to save the data. So data can be saved in several ways. So that several ways are nothing but the data structures. So if I save the data in a continuous manner, so that is called as array, or that is also called as linked list. If I save the data in the circular form, that is called a circular queue. So if I save the data in the tree format, that is called as tree. If I save the data in the graph format, that is called as graph. So data structure is a specialized format for organizing and storing data. Means we are organizing as well as storing the data. And one more operation is there, processing. So first we organize, then process, then store. Okay. So in the memory of the computer. In the memory means especially in the RAM, or we also save the data in the hard disk, in the secondary storage. So this is the simplest definition of data structure. Data structure is a specialized format for organizing and storing data in the memory that considers not only the elements stored, but also their relationship to each other. Means in the data structures, we may have the more than one data elements. So we are storing the data elements, otherwise we are giving the relationship between the data elements. Suppose I have 10 data elements. So now the data one element, the first element, second element has a link, second and third has a link, fourth and fifth has a link. So all the elements are interlinked to each other. So means we are forming the interrelation between the data as well. So data structure affects the design of the both structural and functional aspect of the program. So if suppose I have to create a program for Fibonacci series or any program, for example, I have to create a program for displaying the results of the student, or any kind of software I have to create. So that program is nothing but the algorithm. We means to create program, we require two things: algorithm plus data structure. So algorithm means step-by-step procedure to solve a problem. Step-by-step procedure to solve a problem. And data structure is nothing but the data format, means in which data format we are storing the data. So program requires two things: algorithm and data structures. Why data structure is required for program? Because program holds some data values. Okay, in the, for example, take example of ATM, ATM software. In the ATM software, we have the data about the customer, data about the account number, data about the transactions. Okay, so to hold such data, we require some data variables. So that data variables is nothing but the data structures. Okay, and we require a step-by-step procedure as well. So program is nothing but the combination of algorithm and data structures. So you know that algorithm is a step-by-step procedure to solve a particular function or task. Already we have seen. So the classification of data structure. So data structures are normally divided into two broad categories: primitive data structures and non-primitive data structures. Primitive data structures are nothing but the fundamental data structures, or they are also called as primary data structures. And non-primitive data structures are called as uh, secondary data structures. So let's see the one by one. So this slide shows the complete structure of the data structures. Now, one thing you remember, you observe here. So we are showing the classification of data structures in the form of tree. So itself, this tree is a data structure. We are showing the data structures in the form of tree. Okay. So we have the on the right to this tree on the left side we have primitive data structures. On the right side we have the non-primitive data structures. Again, the non-primitive has four categories, and the non-primitive has two main subcategories. Then in that again array have sub three categories. Then list again have the sub two categories, like that. So this structure itself is a data structures. Okay, because this such type of structure is called as tree. So we are means we are classifying the data structures here using the tree format. Okay. So as I said earlier, so here data structures mainly are of two types. Primitive means that primitive has alternate names like fundamental and basic data types, and second is non-primitive, means non-fundamental, means advanced. So in the primitive we have the integer, character, float, and pointers. And in the non-primitive, we have the arrays. In the array, again, we have three categories: single dimension array, two-dimensional array, multi-dimensional array. And in the second category of non-primitive is a list. Again, it has two categories: linear, non-linear. In the linear, we have the stack, queues, and linked list. In the non-linear list, we have the trees and graphs. So this is the overall structure of the data structure. So in the primitive, if you learn the C language already, so in the we have seen that these are the basic data types in the C language: integer, character, float, and pointers. So integer, again we have two types of integer: short integer, long integer. Depends upon their bound. Okay, so means what depends upon the range of the values. Again, integers are divided into two categories: unsigned integers, signed integers. Unsigned integers means they only denote the positive numbers. Signed integer means they represent the both positive and negative. For example, unsigned integer means like the number integers that don't have negative sign, means like +10, +5, or only 5, only 10. And unsigned means having the negative sign, especially. So -5, -10, these are the sign integers. So in the characters, characters also have sign characters and sign characters. What does mean of sign characters and sign characters? Actually, each character having the ASCII value. Okay, each character having the ASCII value. So ASCII value may be the negative and positive. Okay, so that depends upon that. We have the character sign and unsigned. Then float. Float is a data structure that holds the numbers with decimal points. The float having two categories: normal float and double. So the difference between the float and double is that only the difference of the range. Means difference of the bound. So floating numbers having the means after the decimal point they have up to the 7 to 8 digits after the decimal point. But in the double, so it includes the it has no limit actually to store the decimal numbers after the point. So pointers we have seen in the C language that pointers are nothing but the variables that stores the address of another variable. Pointers are nothing but the variable that stores the address of another variable. So pointers can be like integer pointer, float pointer, character pointer, or double pointer. So integer pointer is called as pointer to integer. Integer pointer is called as pointer to integer. Float pointer is called as pointer to float. And double pointer is called as pointer to double. So what does the meaning of this? So integer pointer holds the address of another integer variable, and character pointer holds the address of another character variable, and double pointer holds the memory address of another double variable. So means we can say that in another word, the character pointer cannot store the address of integer variable. Okay, so data type of pointer variable and data type of the variable should be matched. So for example, I have one int x equal to 10. This is the variable int space x is equal to 10. This is my variable x, integer variable. So I have one more variable integer asterisk p. So integer asterisk p is a pointer variable. Okay, so you can keep any name to the variable. So now p is an integer pointer and x is also integer variable. So now I can store the address of x into the p. So p equal to the address of x. So in this way, I can store I can assign the address of integer variable to integer pointer. So I cannot assign the address of character variable to the integer pointer. So it shows the error. It will show the error. So in the array, if you go for the non-primitive data structures, so in the non-primitive data structures, we have the first category arrays. So in the array, we have the single dimensional array, two dimensional array, multi-dimensional array. So in the list, we have the linear, non-linear list, stack, queue, linked list, and the non-linear trees and graph. So let's see one by one. So let's see the primitive data structure. So there are basic structures and directly operated upon the machine instructions. So data structures that are directly operated upon the machine level instructions are known as primitive data structures. Okay, data structures that directly operated upon the machine level instructions are called as primitive data structures. Primitive is basic data structures. So these data structures are directly operated upon the machine level instructions. Example, already we have seen integer, floating point number, character constants, and string constants, pointer fall in this category. So the most commonly used operations on the data structures are broadly categorized into following types. Means for all kind of primitive data structures, we have the common operations. Create operation, selection operation, updating operation, destroy or delete operation. So these are the common operations we apply on the all primitive data types. So non-primitive data structures are nothing but the sophisticated data structures. Sophisticated means there are such data structures are complex in the nature. Okay, complicated in the nature. So data structures that are derived from the primitive data structures are called as non-primitive. Means non-primitive data structures are derived from the basic data structures. That is called as primitive data structures. So non-primitive data structures emphasize means focus on the structuring of the group of the homogeneous same type or heterogeneous different type data items. So means main focus of this non-primitive data structure is on the structuring of the group of the homogeneous elements or heterogeneous elements. So in the non-primitive data structures, we have two categories: linear data structures, non-linear data structures. So linear data structures means the data structures in which the elements of data structures are stored in the linear fashion in the memory, are stored in the linear fashion in the memory. Means they are stored in the linear fashion, means one by one. Okay. So linear data structures, example, we can say that train. Take the train. So train is an example of linear data structures. In the train, we have the one engine. Okay, one engine compartment, one engine of to the engine other compartments are attached. So each bogie or each compartment denotes one element of the train. Okay, each compartment denotes the one element of the train. So here, similarly, the linear data structures are kind of the data structures. Means they are one kind of data structures that has the homogeneous elements. Means linear data structures cannot hold the heterogeneous elements. Means, for example, in the linear data structures, I can store all integer type data elements, or either integer. All the elements may be either all integers or all float. Means I cannot mix the data elements. Means heterogeneous and non-heterogeneous cannot be mixed in the linear data structures. So, and the data structures in which elements are in a sequence and form a linear series. So such data structures called as linear data structures. Linear data structures are very easy to implement since the memory of the computer is also organized in the linear fashion. So if you see the memory of the computer is it is in the linear fashion, because in the computer memory we have the memory addresses. So memory addresses are always in the sequence. For example, memory address starting address is suppose 1000. So memory addresses are address like this: 1000, 1000, 1003, 1004, 1005, like that. So memory is in the linear fashion. So memory also linear, and this data structure also linear. Means it is very easy to store the linear data structure in the memory of the computer. Okay, this is meaning of this. So next, the non-linear data structures. In the non-linear data structures, means it is a subcategory of non-primitive. In the non-primitive too, linear, non-linear. So in the non-linear, non-linear data structure is a data structure in which the data items are connected to several other data items. Okay, so data items in which a data item is connected to the several data items. Okay, so what is meaning of this one? So means in linear, like train bogies. Okay, like train bogies, one bogie is connected to the another bogie. Means one bogie cannot be connected to the more than one bogie. Okay, so the given bogie cannot be connected to the. For example, there is a bogie S1. So S1 is connected with the S2. Okay, S1 is connected to S2. S2 is connected to S3. So in train, the boogie S1 is means it is not possible that boogie S1 is connected with two boogies like S1 and S2. Sorry, S2 and S3. S1 is linked only S2. Means it is not possible that S1 is linked with two boogies like S2 and S3. It is not possible. Okay. So, but in the linear data structures, the one data item means one data element can be connected to several other data elements. So, what is example of this? Example is graph. Okay, graph. So in a graph, we have the root node. We have the root node, and to the root node, we have the two subtrees: the left subtree, right subtree. Left subtree also having the two subtrees: the left subtree, right subtree. So in that way, the tree grows. So this is the example of linear data, non-linear data structures. Example also is graph. In the graph, one city, for example, one city can be connected with the multiple cities. Okay, no? Yes or no? For example, Chennai is connected with the Bangalore, with the Kanyakumari, with the Hyderabad. Okay, so this is example of non-linear data structures. So non-linear data structures may show the either hierarchical relationship or parent-child relationship. So in the non-linear data structures, the data elements either in the hierarchical format or in the parent-child format. Okay. So data structures are not arranged in the sequence. So these data structures are not arranged in the sequential structure. So the different non-linear data structures are trees and graphs. So the most commonly used operations on non-primitive data structures are broadly categorized into following types: traversal, insertion, selection, searching, sorting, merging, destroy, or delete. So these are the common operations that can be done on the non-linear data structures. So let's see one by one. So we'll see the difference between these two. Okay, difference between these two. The primitive data structure is generally basic data structure that is usually built into the language, such as integer and float. A non-linear data structures is built out of the primitive data structures linked together in a meaningful ways, such as linked lists, binary trees, AVL tree, graphs. So let's see the in the non-linear data structure. So in the non-primitive data structures, we have linear data structures. In the linear data structure, first example is array. So what is array? So array is nothing but the collection of elements or set of elements of same data type, of homogeneous data type. So array is defined as a set of finite number of homogeneous elements or same data type. For example, I will give you the real time example of this. Take the biscuit packet, or take the any biscuit packet. For example, Parle biscuit is there. So in the Parle biscuit, we has many many flavors are there in the Parle biscuit. Take example of normal Parle of 5 rupees Parle. So in that, in a given packet, all biscuits are homogeneous. Means all biscuits having the same taste, same size, yes or no, same designing in the given packet. So we can say the biscuit packet is a array of biscuits of homogeneous type. Means in the given biscuit packet, all biscuits will be same color, with the same size and with the same designing and with the same taste. So biscuit packet is a very good example of linear data structures like array. So it means an array can contain one type of data only, either all integer, all floats, or all characters. So array is a set of elements of homogeneous type. So it contains either all the integers or all the float or all the characters. It means it cannot be mixture of float and integer, or float or character, or integer or character. It is not possible. So all elements will be integers, either or float or all character. So let's see the example. So in the array, we have the one-dimensional array. Okay, we have the one-dimensional array, first category. In the one-dimensional array, the array with only one row or column is called as one-dimensional array. So it is a fine collection of it is a finite collection of number of elements of same type, So that can be referred by index, and the syntax element, the syntax elements are stored in the contiguous elements. Okay, elements x to define one dimensional array. Example here, syntax is given. So here I have the before declaring the array, I have to mention the data type. I have to mention the data type, then space, the array name, and in the bracket size, then semicolon. For example, I have to declare an array to store the roll number of the students. Okay, so data type of roll number can be integer, then array name is a roll number, and size suppose 50. Okay, so I have the 50 students, so I will give the size 50. The name of the array will be roll number, and its data type could be the integer. So here the array is declared like array name. The array is integer. Okay, so array has data type. Look at the first line. At the ending of the first line, integer is the data type of this array. The name of array is ARR, and its size is 10. So here the linear array can some linear data structures in the form of array will look like this. Okay, will look like this. So this array having here only 5 elements are shown. Okay, 5 elements are shown. So on the left side of this figure, and we have the index. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5, and in the boxes, that box denotes the boxes denotes the block of the memory. So we have the 5 blocks of the memory. First block, second block, third block, fourth block, fifth block. In the first block, the element 10 is stored. In the second block, element 100 is stored. In the third block, the element 20 is stored. Likewise, 500 and 600. On the right side of this array, we have the memory address. Okay. So for first block in which 10 is stored, for example, it has memory address 1000. For the second block, the element is 100. For this 100, the memory address is 1002. For 20, 1004. So why there is a difference of 2 in the memory address? Because the integer takes 2 bytes. Okay. If the operating system is 32-bit, so the each integer takes 2 bytes. So for 1 byte, 1 address means for 10 actually there are 2 addresses, 1000 and 1001. For 100, 1002, 1003. But only the base address is shown. For example, for 10, there are 2 addresses because 10 takes 2 bytes of memory because 10 is an integer number. But here it is only base address is shown. Okay, only base address of 10 is shown, that is 1000. But 1001 also is there for 10. For 100 also, the base address is 1002, but again it has one more address 1003. But here only base addresses are shown. Likewise, for 600, the base address is 1008, but it has one more address 1009. Okay, so so on the left side, the index of the array. So generally the index starts with the 0, but here for the simplicity, it is shown with the 1. But in the memory, the index of arrays always starts from 1. Okay. And in the middle, in the blocks, we have the value of the array, and on the right side, we have the memory addresses of the elements. So this is the graphical presentation of array. So the elements of array will be stored in the consecutive, means continuous memory location. See here, for this the memory locations are continuous. For 10 there is 1000 and 1001 because 1001 is not shown, but only base address is taken. So here the memory addresses are continuous. There is no gap. There is no break between the memory address. So the first the memory address are starting from 1000 and ending at 1009. Means for 600 has 2 addresses, 1008 and 1009. 1008 is the base address. So here the main memory addresses are the continuous means they are in the sequence. So that's here first line. The elements of array always be stored in the consecutive memory location. So again and we require the array size. Okay, first we require the data type of the array, then we have to mention the array, then then we have to assign the elements. So you look at the last sentence. The array can always be read or written through the loop, because array having the more than one element. Okay, array having the more than one element. If I have the only one element in the array, so only no need of the any loop. Okay, but if I have the more than one elements in the array, so I require the loop, because I have to, for example, the array size is 10. Array size is 10. So I have to read the 10 values for the array. Then I have to display again 10 values. So for that, I can use the for loop. Okay. So for loop, will start from 0, because index of the array always starts with the 0. And suppose I have 10 elements in the array. So I have to size of array is 10, suppose. Then the index will start from 0 to 9. And I have to read the 10 elements. So the first element will be at the 0th position, second element will at the 1st position, and the 10th element will be at the 9th position. So in the for loop, the initial value of I is 0, and the final value of I is less than equal to 9. And we are incrementing the value of I by 1 always. So from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, like that. So we are taking the jump of only one jump of 1, means I plus plus. So using the scanf, we are reading the elements of array. The name of the array is ARR, and we are storing, reading the array elements, and we are storing at the address of ARR uh, uh, with the I. I will be from 0 to 9. For example, when I is 0, when I equal to 0, the condition is true, because 0 is less than equal to 9, condition true. So the first element will be stored as ARR0. So first element will be stored at ARR0. And in the same time, we are printing the elements also. Okay. We are reading and printing. So it will read the first element, it will show the first element. It will read the next, because I plus plus means value of I equal to 1. So 1 is less than equal to 9. So it will read the second element, which is AR1. So it will read the second element and it will store at the ARR1. So we are reading and we are displaying. So suppose I am taking second element as a 50. So like that, I will reading the all 10 elements, and at the same time, I will displaying the all 10 elements. So array are divided into 3 categories based on their index. Okay, based on their index. So single dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and multi-dimensional array. Okay. So we'll see the single dimensional array. So what is meaning of single dimension array? So single dimensional array means here the elements of array is referred by only single index. Referred by only single index. In the two-dimensional array, the elements of array is addressed by is retrieved by the row and column. Okay, but in the in the single dimensional array, we have only a row. We don't so let's see the example here. For example, so basic operations on array. So we have seen the types of array here. Then we will see the in the multi-dimensional array, we have the dimension of array more than 2, means 3, 4, like that. So in the basic operations on array are traversing and searching, insertion, deletion, sorting, and merging. So what is meaning of traversing? Traversing means visiting all the elements of array. Visiting all elements of array once, means we are visiting all elements of array once, minimum one time. Okay. And searching means we are searching the particular elements in the array. For example, I have 10 elements. In that 10 elements, suppose whether I have to search whether the 100 element is present or not. So my search element is 100. So if it is already in the array, it will find the match and it will show that the element is found. If element is 100 is not in the array, it will show that element did not find. So in the insertion means I can insert the new elements in the array. So for example, I have my size of array is suppose 10. The size of array is 10, but I am having only the 5 elements. Currently, I am having the 5 elements, means I have the five empty places. So in the 5 empty places, I can insert the new 5 elements. In the deletion means I can delete the elements from existing array. So suppose I have 10 elements in the array, so I can delete the existing elements from the array. So then I have sorting. Sorting means sometime I read the array elements in the random order. Okay, in the random order I can read the elements of array. But for example, why the sorting is required? Suppose I have to search particular elements in the array. I have to search particular elements in the array. But array elements are not in the sorting order, not in the ascending or descending order. So searching operation become very tedious. Okay, very long. Okay, so to minimize the search time, so I must sort the elements of array. When I sort the elements of array, the searching becomes easy. So I will sort the elements of array either in the descending order or in the ascending order. Descending order means from the biggest element to lowest element. That is called as descending. Ascending order means I have to arrange the array elements from lowest to highest. So in the merging means suppose I have two arrays. So I have two arrays. So I can merge them together. Suppose I have array of size 3. I have an array of size 3 and I have one more array of size 5. So I have to merge these two arrays, size 3 and size 5, means the total size will become 8. So total elements will become 8. So these are the operations on the array. So let's see the first operation, traversing arrays. Traversing means visiting the each element of array once. So what is traversing? It is used to access. Means it is used to access the data. Each data item, means data item is elements exactly once, so that it can be processed. So, for example, I have 5 arrays. I have linear array of size 5. So I have the 5 elements 1, 10, 20, 30, 45, or 50. So I have to visit the all elements. I have to visit the all elements once. So in this case, I will apply the traversing algorithm. Okay. So let us stop here because the video becoming very lengthy. We'll see the next part in the next video. So thanks very much for watching.